Well, thank
Great.
you for the thank you for the time, the opportunity. I'm glad that we get to do this,
Oh,
even
thank you.
though you're uh you're over in Ireland, right?
I am. I am. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Long way away.
yeah. So how'd you find our festival?
I found it through Film Freeway actually, and so I was looking for festivals and to enter my film, and your one caught my eye. I read the description on it, and I looked up a few things online, and it seemed like a great festival. So I really wanted to enter it in because it kind of centers on kind of the more independent side of things, and that's what I'm at, you know. So
Yeah, when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, we thought, okay, well, what can we do that's not already being done? And we wanted to focus on, well, there's a lot of great filmmakers not working with a big budget. Let's make something for them. So that's what we were
yeah,
thinking.
that's great. It's brilliant.
I appreciate that. Well, John, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background with filmmaking?
So I suppose I'm in it. I have a bit of a kind of a varied background with filmmaking and stuff. So I got into the industry about 11 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago now, and I worked as a camera assistant and a clapper loader for a long time, probably too long. Um, um, so about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was camera operating and like B cam and kind of and stuff, mostly on documentary and a few smaller TV shows. And I really wanted to do my own thing. I really wanted to kind of express myself. I was kind of always on the back end of the support systems and stuff like that. And I really wanted my own voice, um, to make my own things. And I suppose, um, yeah, the last few years, I split myself into two. I do some corporate stuff, and I work with smaller brands, and I always try and go with the independent side of things if I can, but I have to pay bills as well, unfortunately. So um, that's kind of what I'm doing. But lately I'm moving even further away from the commercial side of things. It's less financial gain, but it's more um, it's more satisfaction kind of creatively, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'm doing now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so me and my business partner Joseph, we work full time and we do our filmmaking on the side. Like we were shooting
Mm,
a documentary this past weekend, but I I think that's the beauty of what equipment has become. That so long as you're
mm,
willing to put in the time and effort, I mean, you can start with the phone, you can work your way up. But it sounds like
absolutely. Yeah.
you were working on actual film. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I suppose, yeah, kind of a, a lot of shorts and really loads of shorts. Um, and so I was doing that for a long time, kind of paid, unpaid, funded, unfunded, kind of the whole spectrum of stuff.
Yeah, we for our company, most of our projects we do for ourselves. We do a
Hmm.
little bit of client work, but for the most part,
Yeah,
we're just picking the stories we want to tell.
it's
So,
great. It's brilliant.
speaking of your documentary, The Happy Herd, how did you come across Sean, and like what gave you the idea to make a documentary?
So I met Sean about 7 years ago. I was working on it was sort of a piece on a magazine program. I was doing camera for it, and he lived in a different part of Ireland. He lived in Cork, which is about 2 hours away from where he lives now, Um, he lived in the hills, and he did claymation animation for kids and workshops and stuff. And we were on each other's radar, uh, like traveling in those circles. We'd come across each other and say hello and stuff. And then a couple of years ago, he got onto me and he said, "Listen, I have this thing called like I'm living off grid basically in this caravan, and I did this thing called Queen of the Goats. It was like a beauty pageant for goats, I suppose, but he did it on his own. And he goes, "Would you be interested in coming down and maybe taking a few photos or something, you know?" And I said, "Well, look, I'll come down." It was the middle of pandemic, so I said I'd come down, but it didn't really happen. And then last year he was on to me again, and I said, "You know what? I'll come down and I'll make a small documentary about it because that's what I want to do anyway." And yeah, and when I got there, then I stayed with him for 2 days, and um, yeah, nearly 3 days, and just started to live with him and kind of spent a lot of time with the goats, and you know, had a lot of my equipment. Well, I had a few of these wires chewed on and stuff in my belt, and um, so yeah, so it was great. It was a really good experience. So, yeah.
It's a good story. It's a good doc. So it was just you shooting and doing sound and everything?
Yeah, just me. Yeah, just a radio mic and a shotgun mic and the camera. Um, that was kind of it. And I'd say in retrospect, I probably would have maybe try and maybe roped somebody in to do sound, or hired somebody. It was in the future. I think if I'm going somewhere rural like that with a lot of wind and stuff, that's the only thing I would have done. Like in retrospect, sorry, I would have done differently. Would get a sound operator, probably, or boom operator. It's just because the wind was just fucking, sorry, excuse me, was just absolutely, it was unbelievable, unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, you can't quite see it on the documentary, like, because he's right on the coast, like in the Atlantic is just there, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were shooting a doc and we were in the middle of a ranch this past weekend.
well,
Fortunately, the sound the wind wasn't that bad. I was looking at footage yesterday, but we got some good images. What
mm.
what did you use to shoot on? What camera did you use?
I use the Blackmagic 6K Pro. Um, you can kind of see it there in the background, lying down. um, yeah, I use that camera. I only have it about a year and a half, but I'm really happy with it. Um, the
That's what we're shooting on as well.
Oh, are you? Oh, great.
Yeah,
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 just the file sizes though. The file sizes, Jacob, are just they're too big. The file sizes are too big.
yeah. I we're kind of at the point that if we're able to shoot like a documentary or a narrative project, the one thing I have to commit to is I need to get a bunch of really big drives. And
Oh
then
man,
other than that, it's just okay. Let's just take care of people. But yeah, the drives take a lot of space.
it's a whole new kind of it's a whole new thing, like that I hadn't really come across, like because I've used I've used all different types of cameras, but Jesus, yeah, I don't go above Ultra HD now, really, like maybe 4K, but the crop and stuff is a bit hard to deal with sometimes, with the different aspect ratios and stuff. Um, but what am I saying? Ultra HD is it's great. You know, what do you usually shoot on the like resolution and stuff yourself?
So I'm probably going overkill right now. So we're working on a number of different future projects,
Mm,
um, and right now we're shooting. we're shooting Blackmagic Raw. I think
Mm.
we're shooting 6K, but at the
Mm.
2:4 ratio, the
Oh
widescreen,
yeah, yeah,
which was just a slightly smaller file size.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we're shooting 5:1. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's not the biggest files, but it's still
Mm.
not the lowest either. And
No,
we're loving our footage. It's oh man, it's looking really good right.
it looks amazing.
It's looking really
It looks amazing. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
cool.
what other I'm sorry to I wish I could just keep talking. Um
Nah, you're fine.
what what other sort of projects and documentary work um are you up to in addition to this project? Happy Herd.
Um, so I've done kind of mini docs for brands and stuff, you know, so I don't I don't know where they go. I don't know where they go, but I make them and I give them to people. But I suppose what I'm working on at the moment it's a longer project about the housing crisis here in Ireland. We have a massive shortage of housing for people, and I'm not particularly politically minded, really, you know. But this seemed to just kind of catch my eye, and so this is sort of a long form project that I want to try and either sell or try and get on some kind of broadcaster or something. You know, I want to do the human side of the housing. It's a housing disaster, really, I suppose, in Ireland. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. I'm just finished the research stage of it now, and I'm contacting kind of charity organisations and people that'll speak to me just to give their perspective on things and kind of figures, and then I suppose from another point, from another side, then I have a short. I'm editing a short at the moment. Um, that's taken ages. It's taken a long time. Um, so that'll be finished at the end of next month, and I'll be releasing that into festivals then as well. Um, that took a long time. There was a lot of ADR work and stuff to do on it, and sound design, and it's a period piece. So like, I just like when people ask me, oh, what's it about, and you're like, it's a period piece. It only had like it has two actors, and you know it's up a mountain, and they're like, why did you do that? And you're like, I've no idea, but sure, why do you do anything? You know, like that, yeah, like sorry I'm waffling here, Jacob, but
No,
I
it sounds
just
like some great projects. So
yeah, I'm just trying to keep going, you know.
yeah. So where is that new doc you're working on? Is that a future project or a short?
It's an hour, so it'll be it'll be split into four different categories, like each around 15 minutes each, you know. So it'll be kind of um, it would be, I suppose, the stats about what's actually going on in Ireland, and that'll be 15, and then next one, the charities and government and people. So I think splitting it up into sections would make it a lot easier to shoot, and for myself, because I work by myself mostly, maybe just a sound operator for some of the bigger clients and or the bigger interviewees and stuff, but mostly myself. So I have to split it up into manageable chunks, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We suddenly found ourselves in the middle of multiple feature doc projects, and like it was a good story we couldn't pass up. It's a story we wanted to tell, but it ballooned. It was a lot of work, and I was like, okay,
Mm.
we have a shoot this day, and this day, but it turns out, there's about five more things in between each. So like all of March we were shooting, and we got some great footage, but Yeah, it got really big really fast. So it was nice that me and my business partner, we could kind of switch who was shooting which nights so we could spend some time at home.
Mm. Yeah, she's it takes up so much time.
It does. It
Wow.
does.
Mm.
But as we were shooting this past weekend, I was like, I really enjoy shooting dogs. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah,
What's
it's good, isn't it?
oh yeah, what's in the future for you? What's next? Other than this one dog project you're talking about.
So the immediate thing really is that short. Um, I know I was speaking about it there, but it's sort of an important one for me in that it was shot at home in I live on the east, we'll say on the south or southeast, but I'm from the southwest, and I'm from Kerry, so it's kind of an important one because there's kind of a movement starting to try, and we're trying to build up our county a little bit more, um, for for kind of Irish speaking Irish language film, and the area as well, you know. So for that to kind of get done, like it's all local actors and um, local cast and crew and locations, and also through our own kind of native language too. So and we're trying to. It's sort of important. So I'll be putting a lot of attention on that to promote that and try and get that out there. And I suppose after that, then it's just start to try and find more projects to do more kind of more smaller docs. I want to do a few small 3 minute or 5 minute pieces on kind of alternative lifestyles in Ireland, and also I want to try and find people that have had paranormal experiences. um, I want to try and just do as much as I can. Um, yeah, I think that's without to go on about it too much. That's kind of what I want to do. You know.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool you're trying to build up film and kind of represent the culture in your area. We're trying to build up our own little film community here, so I think that's fantastic. Um, so
it's important. It's important.
it is, yeah, for sure. Do you have any advice for someone who's a new filmmaker who's just getting into it and they're just trying to figure out how do I get started?
Um, I think be. I think be serious. Don't be afraid to be serious about what you're doing. Um, don't be afraid to be serious about what you're doing, but also um, take on the advice of others. Like just take the advice of others that are working in the industry, and don't listen to people to saying that you can't. And once you hear someone, once I was only thinking about this today actually. Once you hear somebody say, "Oh, sure, why would you want to be doing that?" Stay away from them because that's just that'll seep into your brain, and you won't do anything. But I think that's the best thing to do. Just be serious, and if you have ideas, everybody can have ideas, and everybody can be creative in their own brain. But writing it down makes it real. Just write it down and make it real, and then you can figure out. Well, okay, the cat can't jump out the window because we don't have a cat. We can't break a window. We can't shoot someone and have a big shootout in the supermarket because that's not real. But like, it's sort of make what you can shoot and shoot what you can edit and edit what you can, that kind of a thing, I'd say. But yeah, believe in yourself. That's probably what I'd say.
I think that's great advice. Thank you, John.